Right, got an interesting little comparison video for you this time. And what it is actually is I installed the Honda foot pegs onto my Xadv, which I'll put a link to in wherever it is up there, no one ever knows. And it occurred to me that they weren't half expensive. And actually, as I remember, I have to double check my figures, and if I'm wrong, I'll put it in the description down below. But I'm pretty sure I paid 420 euros, which is 365 quid, for a couple of foot pegs. Honda, come on, it's absolutely madness. So, just sort of out of interest actually, I went on to Temu. Other cheap Chinese brands are available. AliExpress, blah blah blah, and again I have to check, but I'm pretty sure I checked through my bank account and I think I paid 37 euros and 63 cents, which is about 32 quid plus a bit of postage and packing. And I'm actually fairly sure I ordered 2 or 3 things at the same time. I'm not even sure I paid postage and packing. And the Honda ones are collected from my local store where I bought the bike, so I didn't pay any postage and packing there. So we're essentially 365 quid versus 32 quid. It's quite a big difference. And is there going to be enough of a difference in the quality of them or the usability, functionality of them? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So I bought these quite a while ago actually. In fact, I bought the Honda ones and the Temu ones at the same time because I was about to go for a ride over to the UK and I wanted to have the pegs, or actually was it Sweden? Anyway, I'll put a link to both of those videos up and those two there. And what I wanted these pegs before I left for whatever trip it was. So I went into the Honda, went into my motorbike shop and said, can I order the Honda ones? And they were like, ooh, might be a little while till they come in. And I thought, right, well, I'll order the Temu ones at the same time and see which ones come first. And the Honda ones actually won by a day, and I'd actually installed them, and then I got home and these were at home. So they can't come all the way from China. There must be a base somewhere else, more local. Right, anyway, so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip one of the Honda ones off of the bike and then set these out so that we can have a look at them, sort of do a side-by-side comparison. And then I'm going to put the Temu one back on. So I've got one Honda one and one Temu one, and I've got a little camera down there. Look, this is my foot peg cam. So with the foot peg cam, we're going to be able to see whether there's any kind of difference in the angle of them, how far away, maybe I'll measure them and see what the differences are. And then the only other thing that I think might be something of interest is if they're any more or less grippy. So I'll whip that off and we'll find out. Okay, so it's been a little while actually since I fitted these, and I've got to try and remember how to reverse it. So there's a little split pin, that's got to come out. You pull this assembly off, then it's just a case of this Allen key, which I believe is a 6 or something, and then there's a 12mm bolt, and I'm pretty sure that's it. So I'll grab some tools and let's get it off. In the meantime, I might start up the foot peg cam so that we've got 2 angles. So let's have a go at that. Right, foot peg cam is live. Right, let's do a test on the foot cam. Okay, here we go. So, foot cam. Gonna see if the angle is any different. Okay, we're happy with the test. Let's go. Okay, so the little split pin and the washer on the end is out. So I can remove that central pin now. And there we go, that's the whole assembly out. I'll leave that in a little line. Then we've got, yes, it is a 12mm socket. Cool. Just a little nudge to get her off. And then this top one is actually an 8mm Allen key. Oh yeah, there's a spacer back there. Right, so let's put that together so we can see it. Now, let's do my handy hand cam. So, we're looking for the right hand side one, and I think this might be the right hand side one. I'm not sure. Does it say left? Oh, right, it does say right on it. So that's good. We've got the right one for the right side. This says left. This says right. So first of all, you've obviously got 3 separate positions that this can go. So if you've got longer legs or shorter legs, we can adjust that. So that's something that the Honda one doesn't have. They simply click up and down like so. And I can tell you that this, it's got like quite a bit of play on it. And it's very easy to move up and down. That's, you know, it's a bit, I feel like that's going to wear out quite a lot faster than the Honda one. As far as the grip level goes, the sort of the size of the grip, so the grippy bit starts here, and I would say the Honda one ultimately, so say the Honda one is wider, so it goes further out from the bike, but as you can see it's slightly narrower than the Temu one. So swings and roundabouts for sizes. Now again, no instructions with the Temu one. What you're going to get in the box is, so let's make sure, it's always windy in the Netherlands, so I've got to just stop everything blowing away in the wind here. So you've got what looks to be 4 identical bolts, so we only need 2 of them, and then 2 and 2, so we just need those. So that is all surplus to requirement for now. And then we've got 4 spacers, of which they're all the same. These are aluminium, the other ones are made of steel. So yeah, so that's going to go on there, that's going to go on there, those are for there, spacers. The only thing that you don't seem to have with the Xadv pedals, sort of pegs from Temu, is this extra washer. And this extra washer, let me just move you all over, went inside there, and what that actually did was, it stops this piece of plastic fairing, you see that, from moving. So if I now install the Temu one, it's probably only going to just about, yeah, you see it's not actually going to, it's going to be able to move. So straight away I can tell you I'm going to want to use this washer in there to hold up the plastic, because at the bottom, let me see if I can just squeeze you in there, this bit here has nothing, there's no plastic in there to hold this against the bike. So without this washer in that hole, I don't know if you can see it, you probably can see it, there's nothing to hold this plastic in. So anyway, let's install it. I think you can see all right there, and we'll go from there. And I think what we'll do is we'll use that washer, because otherwise we're going to could find ourselves in a bit of a pickle. Right, just grab the right size Allen key, and it's going to be a 5mm. All right, so the Temu one takes a 5mm. So we put one in like so, we'll line the other one up. Perhaps I'll have to do it this way. Well, I can tell you right now, this is very easy to do. Don't need to be mega tight because they're coming off again in a minute. Probably want to be installing these with a bit of copper slip as well. When I put the Honda one back in, I'm going to use a bit of copper slip. Right, so all that remains to do then, oh look, so actually it's not up and down the height, it's forward and backwards. Look, you see that? So yeah, I wonder if we're going to see on peg cam where we were before. I think they probably want to be in the furthest position back. And this is going to be a different size again. So now we were a 5, and now I think we're going to need a 6. Yes, we need a 6. So we're back in action. Well, ooh. That does not feel nice. Oh, I feel like they're the wrong bolt, you know. It doesn't feel nice at all. Like, it shouldn't be that tight. Just Right, let me pop to my shed and I'll see if I've got some different size bolts, because I really don't feel like these fit. Let's have a look at this other one on the left one. Like, they're just so tight. Should they be so tight? I don't think so. I think they're going to thread them. Right, hold fire and we'll go and have a look for some other screws. I'm a bit, well, I'm not that concerned, because I'm probably never going to use these pegs for 30 quid, but I feel like they don't go, it's almost like the threaded bit in the aluminium is not big enough. Like, it's way too tight. I've only just got like one thread on. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a bit of copper slip here, which is from Halfords from about 25 years ago, and it's a bit more like soup than anything. But anyway, I've got some, so I'm just going to dip that screw in there, and then we think it's going to be, how's this working? Well, I'll go for the middle one, and then it's a 6mm. Is it a 6mm? Yeah. I'll put that on a ratchet, and then we'll just see if it goes in. Oh look at that, it's already sort of cross-threaded it. So look, can you see that? It's going in at an angle. Man, this is rubbish. And that is like super tight. It's like it's making its own thread. Oh, it is going in, but that first bit, whoa. So there we go, it is going to go in. I think the little bit of the old copper thread slip will be all right, but it's a bit touch and go there. I wasn't sure whether that was going to go in. Nonetheless, they will fit. I thought that was going to be a disaster for Temu then. Got to stop everything blowing away. Right, so we're back in action on this one. And so, where were we? We were here. So I'm going to just have a little bit more copper slip in there. Copper slip. Right, we'll also restart peg cam. Now I feel a bit more confident about winding that in. So let's get one started. Dip the other one in the old goo. Screw goo, let's call it screw goo. Screw goo. What a mess. What a mess you're making, Dean. Again, that first bit just doesn't feel like it should be going in. Right, we're on. We're on. That was a bit touch and go there for a moment. Let's just put my lid on my 25-year-old copper grease from Halfords. Thanks, Halfords. It's lasted me a lifetime. I'll be buried with that copper slip. Right. That's rubbish. Let's go over to the Honda one on the other side and just see what that's like. So there is a little bit of, obviously you've got this, but almost no play whatsoever. And this one springs up like so, but it also has got another cool function where you can, I'll see if I can do this on the bike. You can lift it up with your foot and push that little clip down and it stays up out of the way. See that? So hopefully you can see that on the camera. And then push it down and it comes back. So right, these are the main differences. So let's say, let's get this camera up so you can see me. Let's say, I don't know, let's say you're off-road and you've brushed past something that is going to return. So even if you took your foot off the peg, for example, and you brush something, that's going to return. And obviously, if it happened that you dropped the bike, that would flip up and return. So that's the thing with the Honda. Now let's go around to the Temu side, and I think you're going to see the differences straight away. It doesn't flip up that way, it flips up this way and doesn't return. So let's say you've bashed into something and it's usually going to be in this direction. It won't flip up, for one, because this is angled in the wrong direction. It's just going up this way and not that way. So it's going to flip up and it's going to stay up. So it's all very well that they flip up out of the way like so, but actually when you're talking about perhaps riding this, I'm going to say off-road loosely because I know there's a big controversy about whether this is an off-road bike. But anyway, if you are on a green lane, for example, and a stick or a branch bangs up and hits you in the peg, you've moved your foot out of the way or whatever, and this just goes, you've now not got a peg. And I don't know, I think if you're just doing a bit of road riding and you just want something to stand on, then probably this is good enough. So the question is going to be, well, there's a few things. So these three positions, once it's in its furthest forward position, I can't really see the point because it's going to be so far forward that you would only be able to get your toe on it. So in this position we're in now is probably the only one that anyone's ever going to use. Do they look nicer in the all black? I don't know really. The Honda ones are like this brushed aluminium that goes with the brushed aluminium here and here and here. So you've got that sort of thing going on. And then this is like anodized black, and there's nothing else on the bike that is anodized black, although the bodywork is shiny, so I suppose in that way, and it has got the Xadv logo on there, which I suspect is probably some sort of copyright. So if Honda, I very much doubt Honda has allowed Temu to have their Xadv logo printed on their stuff, not for 30 quid anyway, but maybe they have, maybe they haven't. So first impressions without riding the bike, you know, you really are getting 30 quid's worth of stuff there. You're not, I mean, the Honda ones are very much overpriced, aren't they? Like 300 and something quid. What are they? 365 pounds. The Honda ones are not worth 365 pounds. They should be, maybe 80 quid would be a realistic price for those. And even then I think Honda's making good money on that. 365 is just sort of taking the mickey out of us consumers, in my opinion, because most of us are going to want these pegs. So the question is, are you going to trump up the money and get the Honda ones, which are clearly better quality, they're better designed, they're better in almost every way apart from the fact that they are located in almost exactly the same place. The only thing I think that some people would really want to know when they went off-road is, are they going to be grippier? Is one going to be grippier than the other? And actually on the Honda one, you can see that it's sort of more of a point, like a sort of like a chain ring, yeah? And on the Temu ones, they're more of a flat thing. And I suppose if you were wearing a soft shoe like my trainer that I'm wearing at the moment, I suspect you wouldn't notice the difference. But when you've got a big off-road boot on, I suspect the Honda ones are going to be better. Right, I'm going to go now for a little ride, literally around the car park. I'm not even going to go on the main road because I can't be bothered to put all my clobber on. So I'm just going to do a little ride around the car park and just see whether there is any difference. So let's go for it. Hey, why haven't you subscribed? You've only got to click that little button. Right, so bike on, ignition on, into gear, no clutch. So, hello foot cam. Right. So this is what I can tell you straight away. The Honda peg is definitely wider, as in it goes out wider on the bike, and that's noticeable in my trainers. Can really feel that there's less support on the Temu one. And then I would say that the Temu one is angled slightly further down at the front to make your toe pointed down towards the floor. Noticeably, it's not like massive, but it's definitely noticeable. U-turn, U-turn. Don't fall off on camera. Right, so to stand up. Personally, although I'm quite used to the Honda one, now it's tricky because actually sitting down, the Temu one feels slightly more comfortable because my foot is, my toes, if you like, are further down towards the floor. So they're this way more on the other cam. But when you stand up, the Honda one comes into its own, because then you've got more control. Like I would say, I'm not an off-road rider, but I would say you've got more control with the Honda one. Let me just stand up. Two reasons. One, it's wider, and two, that angle does make a difference. I'm sure if you were a seasoned off-roader and you stood on this bike right now, you would agree with me that the Temu one is not going to be as good as the Honda one. Right, it's my final U-turn. Woo! Traction control on the farm. Skids. I'm so cool. Right, let's go back into my little filming area. Ooh, filming area. Right, off. So I suppose we can just do a summary of that here and now. Honda. 365 quid is too much for your pegs, simple as that. But they're definitely designed better, they're definitely better. Are they worth the difference? I think if you're just going to ride around on the road, get the Temu ones, they're probably fine. You're not going to have experienced one or the other, you'll only experience the Temu one yourself, so it would mean that you wouldn't care. The only difference is that, can you hear that? They're just naff. You can tell they're naff. Hopefully I'm going to link this video with the other video so you can see. But it's just, the quality of them is just total tosh. So for me, I actually would buy the Honda ones, especially now that I can compare them side by side. But I would begrudgingly hand over my money, it being so expensive. Go with the Honda ones. That's it really. I think if you're going to ride these bikes even slightly off-road, go with the Honda ones. Right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.